Entitlement is not a right, it's a privilege. And privileges are not earned, are not given, but earned. And that is a quote from a popular person that I'm not going to mention his or her name. Well, this is good morning and a delightful reminder that this is Ways Breakfast, hashtag what are you saying? As you know, this show talks about everything that concerns you. Yes, you. This morning we're talking about the spirit of entitlement, the entitlement pandemic as we know it to be. And driving home this conversation is I, Okikiola Taiwo Jalekmo. And of course, I'm with the full squad this morning. Hello, God's Beauty. Hello, Oluchi.
Hello, people.
Oluchi, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Don't I look good?
You look good now.
You look good, you know? You look nice.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have money in your pocket?
I have money. I don't do cash, so
Give me my money.
I have card and
How are you? How are you doing, God's Beauty?
I'm good. I'm okay, apart from the fact that I don't know what's going on in my head. But it's fine.
But it's giving new God's Beauty,
Are you being
exciting
serious?
God's Beauty, changed God's Beauty, you know?
Okay.
I think I like the new God's Beauty.
No, I
no
don't
change
like
is
that.
constant. It's okay when they see a different you every time. Yeah.
Smile at
But
the
we
camera.
understand what's
Anyways, this morning when I was thinking about the idea of this whole entitlement thing, I started thinking about what if I am entitled? You know, sometimes you can bring up a topic and then it looks as if you want to come and
You two,
discuss
your
it
part.
and tell them that, no, this is not, this is this is that. But if you really self-evaluate yourself, you
Right.
might now realize that there's some things that you think that you might be entitled to. Or something that you think that someone should give you just cause, or something that you even realize that you are suffering that entitlement pandemic because you have a lot of people relying on you. Maybe they give nothing in return. Maybe it's a pest situation, but then you just feel that kind of way. So
what was your conclusion?
my conclusion is that I'm a bit of both. Because of certain situations, I feel privileged to get those things. Because of other situations, I feel like maybe I need to work on not asking certain people for certain things when they are not in this space. So I created like a circle of what is going to be my reason for why I should ask for something from this particular person. So that was my conclusion. I did it in my jotter, and that's
I don't have a
secret
conclusion yet because I'm still thinking.
So you don't
Am
know if
I
you're
entitled or not?
Are you?
And still
You
think,
don't
maybe
know.
when we start the discussion and I start painting scenarios, you guys will help me
Maybe.
judge.
I think it's, for me, the entitlement comes with like the scenarios. Do you understand? If it's in the case of Chef T and the woman, whatever, I feel like I don't
That's
know why
Wumi
she's
Toriola.
entitled. Yes, I don't see a reason why she should be entitled. Given that, again, we don't know what's happening behind the scene. Even though there are some stories around the fact that, I mean, there's something around Funke Akindele's story. Like I said, you don't know what's going on behind the scene, right? But I feel like it is very wrong for you to call out somebody, especially when probably you guys are not friends and all. You're calling her out because she heard your message in that sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. Do you understand? And coming to the whole Ashake thing again, I mean, you can see there are different dynamics, and for me, I don't think I am an entitled person. I used to be one. I mean, I remember when I was friends with someone.
Oh, that thought.
I was waiting for
I think
that.
you enjoy this a lot.
She
You enjoy
enjoys
holding
it.
people's thoughts.
People don't know the power. That's why they say that some people, if they hold power, something is going to happen. There's a power when you are sitting on
this
this seat. They say,
Hold
it. Wait, they don't love
Like a polite shut up.
Do you understand?
Anyways, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is a show that talks about everything that concerns you. Yes, it's Ways Breakfast. Remember, you're the main ingredient in this conversation. Our phone lines are open to you, and also you can follow us on all our social media platforms showing on the screen, from Instagram to TikTok to Facebook to X. We'll go on a break right now, and when we return, we'll go straight into the headlines for today. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Now, let us take a look at what's making the headlines today. Today, we'll be highlighting the top stories from the pages of The Punch, The Guardian newspaper, and, of course, the New York Times. Definitely starting off with the New York Times this morning. God's beauty.
All right, straight into the New York Times newspaper. By the top right, we have the Russia forces Ukraine out of Kursk territory, one seen as leverage. Then by the left column, we have Greenpeace vies to save entity larger than the whales itself, overcoming stigma, women on Mark's rape in Ukraine war, and that's by the right column. Then we have activist showed his face, then he paid a price, that's bottom left. And by the bottom right, we have he interrupted his death to save another life. So there are two stories here because I feel like they go hand in hand. I want to speak on. So the first one is overcoming stigma, women on Mark's rape in Ukraine war, right? So we already know the war is ongoing, and to just give updates on that, it looks like the Ukraine are going down now and the Russia is taking upper hand. But it's important to also state this out, and let me quickly give out the details. And it says women in Ukraine are coming forward to share their experiences of sexual violence during the war. Many of them have previously remained silent due to fear, stigma, and shame, but they are now speaking out about the atrocities they face at the hands of the Russian forces. Now, we have here, by sharing their stories, these women are shedding light on war crimes that often go unreported. We have their testimonies could be used as evidence in international war crime investigations against Russia. Their sexual violence in conflict zones is often hidden due to social stigma, but this women's courage is helping change that narrative. So why this is concerning is because even though these crimes are being reported, there is concern about whether justice will be served or not, given that it's a war situation. So even, at the end of the day, who do we even hold responsible? Do you understand? And like I said earlier, I've given updates to what's happening in the war, because, you know, when the last time we mentioned of the fact that the Ukraine are taking upper hands, and it's looking like the Russia still have issues with their manpower, and they're trying to, you know, look for ways. But right now, there's a particular place called the Kursk, right? I think it's a city in Russia, and those places were once held in by the Ukrainians, and they felt like they had upper hands, given the military aid that they have, the weapons and all. But right now, the Russia, because given that it's their territory, the Russian now is occupying that place, and most of the Ukrainians that are there are already taken down. So it's looking like the Russians are having upper hand to this. So it just shows that at the end of the day, this war thing is never, it's never a good thing for any country.
Never.
And given that they don't even want, they are still not ready for a peace talk, I really don't know what to say, because see the women now complaining about the sexual violence they went through, they have gone through, they are going through, because the war is here to end. So this is something that will keep happening until probably the war becomes peaceful and all. So I really don't know. There's just a lot happening there, and I hope that, you know, it is a very sad one, because the next thing I wanted to say is, oh, I hope that they are safe. Well, bro, there's war, so how can they be safe? There's just a lot happening. But yeah, that's just the update on the story.
Thank you. I think I completely agree with all you have said, so not to overdrag the story. And then the New York Times, I think for once, has a lot of quite both sad and encouraging, where
yeah.
you see where the activist showed his face, then paid the price. You see he interrupted his death to save another life, and you see so many stories around that. So war is something that I hope never happens to anyone, because there's so many things that, this is just one case out of many other things that happen in war. And I'm glad that this has somehow come to life, that people now know that rape happens. Women are always at the receiving end of these things, because obviously there's so many other things that one can do. I don't believe that this should keep happening, but this is the reality of Russians and Ukrainians currently. So
and even when this peace that we're clamoring for comes, the impacts of the war will still be very felt.
The
for
stigma,
a very,
the trauma,
very
a
long
lot of
time.
things.
Yeah.
I get
sad.
that.
All right, moving on to the Nigerian story. The Guardian newspaper has some interesting ones here. The major headline reads, Eyes on Rivers CJ as impeachment plot thickens against Fubara deputy. Lingering court order litigation trails Shell's $2.4 billion divestment. Nigeria-Brazil $1.1 billion green project kicks off. AGF lacks power to prosecute electoral offenses, court rules. Debt servicing fell from $540 million to $276 million, says CBN. Dangote to reconstruct Itori cement plant, build Olokolo port. Nigeria's inflation sustains downward trend, slows to 23.2%. We see Jandor returns to APC as PDP describes exit welcome relief. EFCC docks Chinese Nigerians for alleged 3.4 billion naira cyber fraud, economic sabotage. Threat to arrest Natasha, anti-democratic, CUPP warns. And the last story here reads, dissociate from El Rufai's deceptive politics, Southern Alliance wants Obi and Atiku. Very interesting story. I didn't even pay attention to the one on page 7 that says Jandor returns to APC as PDP describes exit welcome relief. Let me do it like I did not see that story first and talk about the one that made me smile in a way, the whole debt servicing thing. So let me read the full story for you. IMF returns positive rating of Nigeria's debt. Figures from the CBN indicate that the amount Nigeria dedicates to service its debt halved from $540 million in January to $276 million. We're talking dollars now in February this year. And the decline in debt servicing occurs with the federal government's ongoing effort to restructure its debt portfolio, enhance dollar liquidity, and alleviate pressure on the foreign exchange market. I think this is some sort of good news. I mean, to be given a positive rating on our debts and to see it slashed by over half almost makes us, have this idea of, okay, we're not exactly broke. We are now finding ways to creatively manage these funds. And I really hope that this is really as it is being put out. And if that's the case, it shows that there's some progress being made with the finance market. And maybe we're making headways with this whole debt thing. So that's all the story I have, basically. I want to talk only good news today. Today is Tuesday.
Well, it's good that we have good news. Let me just put it like that. And I think that the president has been talking a lot about how he has been trying to clear Nigeria's debt and debt borrowed and owed by, the former presidents and every other lawmaker. But let me quickly go into the Punch newspaper. The headline here reads, impeachment move, tension in Rivers as Assembly serves Fubara misconduct notice. Tantita tightens security. Lawmakers list 19 infractions against the governor. Amechi camps kick. Another story here reads, fourth year killed in Ogu cult clashes. And on the right, we have Lagos PDP attacks Jandor over return to APC. Above the mast, we have SGF distances self from AIDS 10 billion naira fraud probe. Anytime I hear this billionaire fraud and everything, I keep getting scared for Nigeria. We are owing money. Okay.
Didn't you hear the good
After she said
news?
the
There's
headway.
a rating that we're making headways.
Okay. I hope they are collecting this money from these people to also patch up those debts also. Let it not be that it's going down under the carpet as there's discovery. Well, another story here says anti-Tinubu coalition, APC orders attack El Rufai, Atiku as plot thickens. Let me quickly talk about like a follow-up story on this story that says Copper will criticize Tinubu under pressure to apologize. And the Punch newspaper took up the news saying that human rights activist and publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore, said on Monday that the UCO member Ushi Ugwamaye, who criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration over hardship, is under tremendous pressure to apologize. Sowore, who accompanied the core member to the NYC local government inspector's office in Lagos alongside a team of lawyers, said government officials, including ministers, had been reaching out to pressure Ugwamaye to apologize. Speaking on Arise TV on Monday night, Sowore insisted that the core members committed no crime by exercising their freedom of expression and criticizing Tinubu's administration. In a now viral TikTok video, a Lagos-based core member, Ugwamaye, on Saturday criticized President Bola Tinubu's government, expressing frustration over Nigeria's worsening economic conditions, lamenting the high inflation and economic hardship. She also criticized the president by describing him as a terrible leader while questioning the government's effort to alleviate the hardship faced by citizens. The core member complained, "I am coming from a supermarket where I went to get foodstuff and everything has gone up again. It's like every single week, prices keep increasing. I want to know, what is the government doing about this increase? If a lot of Nigerians come out and start speaking about what we are going through, maybe changes will be made in government." I don't know if there's any other president that is as terrible as you, Mr. Tinubu, said.
Please put that said Okiki, so you don't go do some apologizing here.
Said by Osita, right? But you, Mr. Tinubu, are such a terrible president. Said by her, not me. She later alleged that she had received threats over her comments, sparking widespread debate on free speech and political dissent in Nigeria. And that's very funny because we spoke about this yesterday, and there was a follow-up on her going on our Instagram page saying that she apologized to Lagos State residents and indigents. She did not mean to say that the state was smelling. She was just trying to, she just noticed that the quality of air from where she was coming from to where she currently is not
We're so sorry.
that good. So it's more like when we were talking yesterday where they were saying that if she doesn't like Lagos air, she should go back to where she's coming from. And I think we had Ola Elijah talking about how people from the southeast, south, and other states will come into Lagos and say Lagos is luxury, but they don't want to leave. It's even as bad as that. Some people go further to work their NYC placements to Lagos just because Lagos is trending, Lagos has opportunities and all of that stuff. But we can now have this kind of situation saying that, okay, I don't appreciate the air. And then the fact that a lot of people are backing her, I think it's a good thing that somehow there's a balance with people who don't see reason with what she did and people who see reason with what she did, and they are, you know, following her up. Yeah. Although there are a lot of things that I do not agree to. Like I said yesterday, that article coming out to say that she's in the level of Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, Gambo Sawaba, all those things that
maybe you don't understand.
It is not
what
in the level. It is not
really
in the
mean.
level. But I feel like I said yesterday, she's literally on that step. She's
not on the step. The staircase does not exist. Look at me like the staircase does not exist.
So that means if I just take up my phone on social media and rant or call out somebody in a negative light, that means I'm on the step of activism. I don't think that's wrong.
No, what you're saying,
that's exactly what she did.
That's a lie.
That's what she did. That's why I said that you cannot put her on that platform.
That's the problem.
But this is where
she came online. She went to a supermarket first, saw how frustrating things are, and just like many influencers will do, come online to rant about it and put negative tags. What is the activism there? She just ranted like every other Nigerian have been ranting.
Yes, I also mentioned that we need to move on from cutting out a government, thinking that that's the only way they are going to do
because
anything.
If we do that, we keep now belittling the real definition of what activism means and the action that is being put in place, not just to rant here.
I don't agree with that.
Thank God I was not on this table because
I wished you were, because now there's a lot to say, but again, I just want to be calm.
That's why I said that it's a good thing. It's a good thing that there is a balance. There are the people who agree and the people who disagree on this issue. So moving on from this particular we have to move on.
I want to say something.
I want us to move on. Hold it.
Okay. I've held it.
Anyways, as you can see, that's not all we have on today's paper because there's a lot that they still want to say. But we'll be taking your questions and comments live on our social media platform. You people are the only ones that have the right to continue this conversation. So please be sure to join the conversation. We'll be right back with our hot topic for today. Please stay tuned. up and grateful, oh Lord. Welcome back to the show. Well, the topic today is, why does everyone think that they deserve special treatment? Food for thought. Is it an entitlement spirit, and why does this exist? From social media influencers to celebrities and even ordinary citizens like us, it seems like everyone thinks that they deserve special treatment these days. But what's driving this sense of entitlement, and what are the consequences of this attitude? Recently, Nigerian singer Asake made headlines, just yesterday in fact, when his baby mama and father demanded special treatment and compensation from him. But is this sense of entitlement justified, or is this just another example of an entitlement pandemic? These are questions that we need to answer. This conversation is not about throwing blames and pointing fingers at anyone. It's about self-evaluation. It's about recognizing the signs of entitlement, the way forward, and how we can address people who in those situations are struggling, or if I myself or anyone on this table, or even you as the viewers, think that for some reasons you need to self-evaluate what kind of entitlement you have, what kind of privileges that you tap into. And starting off this conversation is definitely on this table with my co-anchors. And I'm going to ask that question again. With the papers for today and the good news that you have read, do you think that you are entitled to good news? Do you think that that news that you have read made you feel like, yes, you are Nigerian?
Of course, I'm entitled to my government providing the basic things. But apart from that, I think I have some bit of context to the answer I want to give to that question. So I remembered something that happened last year that made me realize that, okay, maybe Precious, you were a little bit entitled. So I had this friend of mine, we used to be very close. And I've always said this on this table, I'm the type that invests a whole lot into my relationship emotionally. In fact, I can be so vulnerable. I think it's something I really need to start cautioning, because sometimes I realized that I was doing what was meant to be permanent for people that were temporary. So when they eventually exit, so it's almost like, was I stupid? There's that sense of your worth.
Yourself,
of course. So I've been learning in my 20s now to understand that some relationships are permanent, some are temporary. Know which one deserves your investing in. So, looking back at this story, I had this very good friend of mine, and we used to be very close. And all of a sudden, there was the drifts, we're apart. And I want to be very sincere and say, maybe schedules changed. We became both busy from our different ends. But here's how I treated the issue. I was so entitled to this person's time, right, that I felt betrayed that I didn't get that much attention again as I used to get, or I didn't feel like I was placed as priority, because if I put you as priority, I want to be put as priority as well. I was so entitled to this person's time, and I went into a state of bitterness, like terrible bitterness. Blocked the person across all socials, didn't want to have any form. And I did this not with having a conversation first. When you just wake up one morning and say, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm doing it. And after a lot of self-reflection, I thank God for that ability to self-reflect, self-evaluate, and self-assess. That's one thing with me. After a lot of that, I realized that, okay, even though, yes, you expect some level of things, commitment from some people, you really do not have any right to be entitled to this person's time. I'm using this person now as a context. Of course, in some situations, you say, why not? If it's your father, you should be entitled. It's your mother, your child, your spouse. And I felt like there was no reason to be entitled to this person's time. Whatever time time is precious. So if you give me 1 hour of your time, it's a privilege. I'll appreciate, work with it, move on to the next 1 hour that we get. But I felt so entitled that it made me a different person that I wasn't meant to be. I became bitter, I became hurtful, and I did put that person aside. But after a lot of self-reflection, I was able to make amends, and we're good. Not like we're not communicating every day. Well, now I understand that, okay, this is
when
how...
you get it, you get it.
Exactly. So with that, I would say that maybe I've been entitled in that situation, and it didn't go well. But thankfully,
what about you guys?
Once you're entitled to something, it actually most of the time doesn't go well.
Because of expectation.
Honestly, yes, expectation. So like I said before, I used to be entitled before you now told me to hold my thoughts. So
now
I release my thoughts?
Release.
Don't mind me, that's
name.
on the light note. All right, so back on the conversation, right? I used to be entitled Especially when I feel, because I mean, like for those who have listened to me over time, you know that when I'm talking about friendship and the body of friendship, that's the way I see it, right? I believe that if I'm calling you my friend, it means you can maybe not die for me. Let me not exaggerate, but
You can live,
die for you, my
you can
dear.
do anything for
Please
me.
live for me. Don't
Don't do
die.
this to people. But you guys get what I'm saying. So I used to be very entitled to this person. Like, I remember we had a conversation, and I was like, okay, you say you are my friend. How come if you're having conversations with other persons and they are discussing me, you self go follow add mouth? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Then if in that car course or in that conversation you guys have had, there's one other person that is there that's also my friend. That one now, I know him to be a listener, but he doesn't add. He doesn't add to the conversation. So when you guys have done all your paparazzi about gossip to finish, that one will not come and tell me that, you know the get sense. I've told you to do things like this and do things like that. And you say this person that is my friend. I mean, the way I place both you and that other person, I've placed that other person to be in a very, like I see you in a very high place, or I've positioned you in a very high place than to this other person. Do you understand? So it is that entitlement thing for me where I feel like, okay, for anything you guys are having or whatever that is happening, I feel like you should come and tell me. I feel like I should know about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? If somebody's talking about me, about anything, I feel like you should fight for me. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yes,
so it was exactly, it was a bit of an issue for me. But then I get to understand that not everybody is actually like that, and that's where the whole you know, the expectation whatever has to now drop, because then I get it that we are not the same person. In as much as I want you to act like this for me, I think it's better for you to do things the way you deem fit. Do you understand? There are certain persons that they are okay coming to tell me that, oh my gosh, the serious is here. Or, do you understand? See what happened. And you see this person I'm telling you, even when it comes back to give me, you know, he doesn't even say it like as if he's reporting whoever. But he says it in a way more like a warning. Oh, this is what I heard.
Why is the person always in the conversation where they are talking about you?
I don't know.
Why are they comfortable talking about that person?
I don't know.
I'm talking to that person about you.
Again, I don't know.
That's a scary one too,
Of
because
course
it
it's
might
a-
look
of
like
course
the person
it's
is doing
scary.
you a favor by reporting that this is what they said.
So this
the fact that you were able to listen, they were able to tell you about it. I'm suspecting that our relationship.
Of course. At the end of the day, none of them is going well. See, there's something. Okay, I don't want to take you into psychology and all of these things, but there's many things I've read and I've learned. You know, I mean, let me just use this particular phrase or this sentence. Person where we say, if you come to me with Okiki's talk, right, or Okiki's gossip, trust me, when you go to Okiki, you will discuss me too. Do you understand? It's simple.
So true.
So the better anybody, I mean, the faster you get that, the better for you. And I feel like that's why I hardly have issues with so many persons now, because I've learned a lot, I've read a lot. So it's easy for me to just see, once I see a particular
still learn
character,
some more.
I move on. It's simple. Because if you're coming to me to gossip about Funke, I'm so sorry, my love. If you come to me and gossip about Funke, I know for sure that when you go to Funke, you gossip about me to her. It's simple. That's
I have
how
a
psychology
confession.
works. Tell me, love.
This talk, I used to gossip about all of you. And I used to tell all of you that I'm gossiping about all of you.
Exactly.
So you cannot hold me
I
to
mean,
it. You
this
cannot
is
shame the shame.
But yeah, so I have been entitled, I mean, at some point
Before.
in my life, yeah.
But I like that both of you have sort of related entitlement to time, the things that you cannot hold, right? But now I want us to talk about the entitlement of material things. Ashake's father came on saying that, or he and his team of, how? I'm
What
looking
came
for
to
the
head?
word.
Let me not say it.
Him and his team of legal backings and family members came to say that they want him to buy 50 million naira house so that he can aid his father to start getting rent from that house.
It not say the
to
place
this,
that
it
they
was-
want the house. It's Saleko.
Exactly. So I'm so sorry. They want it at Isaleko, a 50 million
entitlement
naira
is
house.
too
And
big.
I think that they must have seen a house and they are going to be like, this house,
God.
now my picking go buy them. This
you
is the right
understand?
time to talk about. So talking about entitlement of material things, what's your thought on that?
Is it with parent and child? Because that's a different
It should not
ballgame
be
entirely.
different. It should not be
Let's
different.
first start with the Ashake story. the structure of his family, how they came out to say he abandoned the father, and now that the father has been ill, they reported that he abandoned his father since 2022, where his father has been ill, and now the father is just voicing out. He's not saying now that I'm ill, come and take me to the hospital. He's saying that, you know what, I can take care of myself, just buy me 50 million and some things. So what do you think about, first start with the Ashake story, with the dynamics of his family, now talk about parents and maybe spouse or child in a broader spectrum?
It's a very, very dicey when it comes to parents and child and entitlement, because I think it's maybe prevalent with the African culture where your parent trains the child, trains any child to a certain level, and then they expect you in return to train.
So eat the fruit of their labor.
I didn't want to use that word.
That I do not put in.
But some of them will put in that labor, but you always hear them use statements of, I go eat the fruit of my labor, you go take care of us, you go buy me house, you go carry me travel. At first, I think it's okay to want to invest in people that have invested in you. We are transactional in this life. Let us not remove that. We are all transactional. In this workplace, we are being transactional. We're offering services to somebody. Somebody is offering services back to us. Across board, we are transactional. So parent-child relationship have that transactional approach. But sometimes, I think there should be, would I call it maybe some caution sometimes? Because it looks a bit overboard, especially sometimes when I'll give examples of people who just maybe graduated from school, or now Ashake own is a different one because he's wealthy supposedly, right? I mean, he's in Afrobeats, they earn millions and millions. I'm just trying to use what's happening, right? And so that wealth will make you want to be entirely entitled. But there are other examples too, of people who are just starting their lives, and extended family are entitled on those people just because we trained you to this point. You self come and train us. Me, I think that if I was going to be a parent, I would be glad and privileged to train my child to any point. And of course, maybe expect, but not to the point where I'm choking such a person. Do you understand what I mean? I'm trying to be very careful with my words, because myself, I'm going to be a mother one day. But
your son will not say, Mama, you remember.
You go buy me house, so 50 million house. But the whole point is that maybe because we're transactional, there can be some sort of balance to these things. The word is balance. It's not wrong to want to take care of your parents. I've seen stories on this Instagram where certain celebrities will tell you that, my mother did this for me. Then after they've made some money, they will do videos and vlogs of them carrying. It's not Nancy Sime one time that did a video of her getting a new house for her parents. And yes, I think I watched that video maybe some years back. And that was beautiful to see. I mean, they've invested in you. It's okay to appreciate them with what we classify as appreciation, that which is material things in this world. So that's okay. But we didn't hear stories of maybe her parents choking her and saying, you go do this for me or you go do that for me. So I think the balance comes when you allow it to come naturally. It's natural to be transactional, and every party, you know that unspoken rule where every party should know what is expected of them. My parents trained me to this point. I shouldn't now have made it and expect my parents to be living in the trenches. Now, that's very irresponsible of me, right? And my parents also should not be so dependent on me where, this is my own legacy now. It's time to enjoy. No, of course, you should expect from me, but still live your life, I guess. Do you understand? So I think balance just comes when we understand how to receive and give from people. But the bedrock is that we're transactional in nature, and you can't take that from humans. As I'm giving you, I'm expecting something.
So this will bring me to ask our viewers, are you entitled? Is there some way, somehow, that you feel that you should get something from someone just because that they are getting something from you? I look forward to reading your comments and questions on all our social media platforms. We'll go on a quick break right now, and when we return, I'll hear straight from you. Stay with me.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back to the show, people. So on my WhatsApp here, somebody commented, for so many reasons, I feel entitled to my spouse because of this person said, because of course he married me and so he must take up my responsibilities. Another person here says that in friendship there should be some level of entitlement because I'm investing love, attention, and maybe money to this person, so I'm expecting that same energy and vibe in return. So I don't know do we agree with these people?
I disagree.
I disagree with that first one.
I'm so sorry. I disagree with the both of them.
Okay, so let me hear from God's beauty.
Let me start from the last one, right? Now, I understand the angle the person is coming from, even that this person is your friend and all of that. But that's why you have to be very selfless. Do you understand? That's why there's a place for who exactly are you? Are you doing things because of what you want in return? Do you understand? That's what the entitlement, that's what the expectation is about. Why are you doing things because you want something in return? If I love this person, I'm loving the person because I choose to love the person. Do you understand? But many of us do things because of what we want in return. Do you understand? And that's why you are not saying that you're entitled because you're maybe money. You know, even sure say they put money for the relationship. But yeah, I mean,
maybe now you can always buy gifts.
Do you understand? Maybe
you seven you go give to me for this your life.
So I'm going to marry you. That is a sense. Don't you think that is also a sense of entitlement, knowing that he's sure that he's going to marry the person? But because I'm trying to relate it to what this person talking about the relationship. That if I'm investing time, energy, money, everything into it, I'm expecting a certain.
That's the problem.
A certain energy in return.
Energy, yes.
Money,
see, when we say energy, it means that I don't know if this one, they do this one, but
I'm buying the energy.
Because when I go give you money, you no go give me back.
No, that's the problem. Now the question, you see that question where you ask now, why would they talk about this thing like this? Honestly
but wait,
speaking.
true now. Why I go buy you birthday gifts? In which my own turn.
You say a queen was born.
You can't pray for me. No, we're gonna settle that.
No, see, if you're doing something, do it from your heart. Before I say out of the abundance of hearts, the mouth speaketh. I don't know why that came to head. But honestly speaking, if you're doing something, do it because you want to do it.
Not because the person is doing something for you.
For you in return, no. I mean, I was telling the Gossip Gala audience, I think that should be sometime last week. And I said, there's this baby in my life right now. Hallelujah, somebody. I'm so excited.
Is it like a new friend?
Is
it a new friend you have?
Yes, it's a new friend, baby.
We need to celebrate that. So you have left the lonely world.
God, I've never been lonely.
You that I know. Solo beauty.
Jesus.
Solo beauty is not dual beauty. Interesting.
Come back to the conversation. So, I mean, I said the things she helps me do, right? There are times where I wasn't feeling well. The baby called me. She would buy me drugs. She has always been there, more like she's the guy gone. Do you understand? And I felt like it was important to, appreciate her. I bought her certain stuff. I took her out. We bought stuff. Do you understand? And guess what? Because of how selfless she is, the next day, this babe went to KFC, got me rice, got me chicken, got me everything. And she sent it to me, and it was the note she wrote there for me. And she's like, God with you, I know say by this time you never chop because you know life food. But I see this one, it's small, but me just use and chop, use and start your day. Do you understand?
Energy.
Exactly.
This
is energy.
Look at that your mates. See what your mates they do.
In fact, God be
This
see your mates.
so serious.
God be see, I've been your friend for how many years? Since childhood. Since childhood. I have evidence, and you have not bought me anything before. Yes, I'm entitled. I'm entitled to chopping your food. I'm sorry. I need you to know.
But God, if she stopped giving you things, would you be okay with it?
We've actually, no, when you say stop giving me things,
like,
we are not in the relationship because of the things she's giving me.
So let's assume that you get used to the.
Why should I get used to it? That's the problem.
No, the truth is that sometimes if I give you food every day, it's not an expectancy thing. You wake up one morning and expect
becomes
it.
A norm.
Yeah.
It becomes a norm that, you might even be feeling hungry and you have food at home, but is that thought of this person always gives me? So it's not necessarily a form of why will you get used to it? It's that comfort from maybe somebody cuddling you, your partner that used to cuddle you all the time, all of a sudden stop cuddling. You will ask, did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
Even if the person is just relaxing and just trying to rest it out for that week, for that month, you sort of, your senses just sort of increase that, like, hey, I've done something. Something is not normal anymore about this thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that you can have certain privileges, not maybe entitlement, certain privileges to some persons that you now feel that, yes, I enjoy this. Yes, I want to continue having access to these things from this person because, of course, I enjoy having it. So why not? If it be it attention, be it material things, be it communication, be it time. It could be anything. That's why I'm trying to open it up to not being only materialistic. It can also go into, just like you and Oluchi have mentioned, time, things being done to and for you.
Yeah.
But let me quickly ask this. Do you feel that Oluchi already mentioned the fact that some parents should not start to feel some type of entitlement, or it should be like a natural thing, like a balance of some sort when it comes to like one person being entitled to something, to investment, to whatever. But do you feel that there are still other people in your life that sort of feel some level of entitlement towards your progress, towards the things that you have, towards where you are going to, where they feel that they should always be in the know of what is happening in your life?
I feel like regardless of who the person is, we are all humans. Once the person starts to pour, once you start to give somebody something, there's that expectancy, there's that belief that, this person is supposed to know, say, if you don't hammer, you're supposed to share them. That's why you will not hear women that have been with a guy for 10 years, 15 years, and when he ends up getting married to another person, you now hear her say, after all I've done for you, I did this one, I did that one, I went to Iroko tree, I came back. Do you understand? But I feel like, one of the ways for us to start talking about, solving this, this entitlement thing, is when we start doing things from the angle of, I'm doing it because I want to do it. Not necessarily because this person is supposed to give me something back in return. When I help people, I help them because, I want to help them, because I think I have it and I want to give out. Not because, if I give this person something, I'm not saying go give me something in return. Because by the time you give people out of, the person will give me back in return, it now leads to their entitlement, whatever. And when the person doesn't give you, it now behave like the likes of me to come out and drag the person.
Now,
Do you understand?
I don't know if this is like a right mentality to have.
Come here, love.
But listening to that, your story, I realize that it's also very common amongst us to want to repay people favors. So it's not like we're owing them something.
I do that a lot, actually.
So I'm wondering, is that really
but that's not entitlement?
It's not entitlement. It's like the flip side of it, where somebody is always investing in you, always doing so much, and you're like, hey, why this person too love me like this? So let me even
do so that tomorrow
exactly
in the future.
Yeah. So it won't look like okay, you are owing me something, because who knows, you cannot overinvest, and I might not have that capacity to pay back in the same measure that we invested as well.
Yeah.
So it comes from both ways. But
I feel like that's something that we should actually work on. Yeah, because I am someone that if you always do something for me, I would always want to, do. I would always want to...
Then back out of care or out of the fact that you don't want to owe the person.
No. So for me, it's the both of them. one, I don't want you to feel like you're the only one doing the investing, because again, it doesn't even make any sense. Because the truth is, if you are being very intentional about having to also help the other person, the person that's been investing in you, you will see that there are some small things that you can actually help the person with, regardless of how big that person is. Once you're intentional, see, you see, I think I'm surrounded by people that always want to help me. So for every time that they do,
now I'll be helping you.
Yes, I'll be helping me.
But continue.
So for every time that they help me, there's that mindset of, oh, what can I do to also help this person as well? Because the truth is, we are humans.
True.
There's that. I mean, I was having a conversation with someone, and he was complaining deeply about how he's helping one girl like that, right? And since he came back from the UK, the girl in question doesn't even know about it. Well, it's some personal issue, but he was complaining deeply that for every time that he needs this girl to help him out, the girl's always giving one excuse or the other. But when it comes to him helping her, there's that big whatever
joy that he gets from doing
exactly.
it.
So you see that, I mean, to the girl, he might not, he doesn't really count it, but you just feel like, you will say, I don't, they always help. You never for once even ask me, say, waiting if you do for you, even if you actually see me as a very big person. Do you understand?
You had always give money, reach your turn,
you
borrow me money, you can't hold my neck. You have not paid me.
Oh my God. So it is very, very important, even though it's the smallest thing. I was having a conversation with someone just this morning. This guy helps me out with almost everything. He's helping me with this one, he's helping me with that one. He's helping me.
He's got the network, don't they?
I don't understand. I love it.
This help. People should help me too. Nobody is helping me out. Even the girls visit that they are helping.
What do you mean? I don't help you.
I never see them. Whether you they do them and I know they see them. Maybe do it more visibly. Now audio help. Do it.
Interesting.
Do it more visibly. But God, you have to quickly use your personal story to ask this my next question. You spoke about how this guy does this thing for this girl, and she seemed not to do anything back. Now, if we take it to the olden days, let me put it like that, the cultural dynamics of man and woman, they will say, man is the giver, woman is the taker.
Receiver.
Give a woman a bicycle, she will turn it to a tricycle for you.
Story.
Give her a Okada, she will turn it to this one. So it's like, it has been made that man is provider, woman is taker or receiver or in that sense. So it now brings maybe that kind of lady to think that he's just basically providing for me.
Job.
He's just doing his job. That's just what he's supposed to do anyways. He's the one that removed his brother, the brother in his name, to come and toast me. So therefore, he should do it. And then that might be what is blinding her. Like I said, I want us to also try and see if we can remove the veil of people who are blinded by the thought of maybe cultural
it's a cultural problem.
So do you think that idea should keep existing? I'm not saying it's a 50-50 thing. To be honest, I can help you do some things, but I'm not going to settle to the rule of 50-50. I'll pay 50% house rent. You will pay 50% grocery. You will pay full house rent. I'm sorry. It's
not took me from my father's house.
It's not a deep thing. I wasn't paying house rent in my father's house.
That's deep, bro.
It is not an entitlement. It is a privilege. So with this privilege that you are giving to me, please pay full house rent and buy groceries in the house. So that's what I want to ask her. How can we take the veil off this person's face that think that maybe it's a cultural thing where in the sense of maybe the person now expecting appreciation in the very least. That, okay, this is now what I'm expecting of you. That while I do all this, I'm not expecting it back, but I'm expecting some level of appreciation, of care that I'm even doing anything for you. How do we address those kind of situations or those kind of people who are blinded by maybe the cultural norm of man provide, woman will take?
Oluchi, do you want to take that?
What I want to say that I don't know that when it comes to culture and some stereotypes, it's usually very hard to break. You can say it and people will still do what they want. Like Kiki has mentioned that she's not doing any 50-50. But I think human beings, we should grow to the point where we do not want to be dependent on people. I think I am the opposite of that. I really do not like to feel like I owe somebody a whole lot.
Bless you.
when I see
I want
people
to narrow
give me,
it down to
let me
your
let me tell you
spouse
this.
where this person came to marry you.
Yeah, that's what I'm, that's
Maybe
what,
when the
that's what I'm
person come,
saying.
I will, let
No,
my
This
guard
person
down.
came to marry you.
See.
You need to be on. Let's be honest with ourselves.
me.
Is that if you are a man and you go and marry any lady, whether she says, "I want to pay for the house" or not, in somewhere in the back of your head, you are willing to provide all the needs of that's one of the essence of paying bride price, saying
Sure.
that I can take care of this person with 2 bags of yam, rice, beans, Bible, Quran, and all of these things.
Culturally, that's how
See,
it's meant to
Culturally,
be.
that is what is meant to be.
That's okay.
So
You can thrive if at the onset, that was the, there's this thing now happening in relationship where people communicate how responsibilities are
Bless
going
you.
to be. So if that's how we've discussed it from the beginning, based on our earnings, that this is how it's going to be, that's fine. But if it begins to change upon when getting married, that's when the problem and the issue arise, and then you start thinking someone is entitled. Whereas they've just told you from the onset, you are the one that's going to be offsetting all these bills.
Right.
I feel like if I'm a woman, of course, if I'm going to get married, yeah, why not? I'm going to be marrying somebody that should be able to provide and meet my needs and that of my family.
important.
But it doesn't now put me at this tight hand spot where I'm just totally relaxed. Whatever is only what you do. That's
some
going to be
people, if
happening.
you don't buy matches in the house, they will not cook.
I
Because
don't
somebody
understand that
needs to
one.
provide.
Let me land with this. There was this thing I wanted to say, that when I see people give and show expressions of love and all of that, I see it as an example to replicate. So apart from feeling pressured to, let me not owe someone, I rather take it as an example to replicate this kind gesture as well. That the way this person has made me smile, how about this person smiling as well if I do this for them? So that's how I've created a balance in my head. That yes, I don't like to owe people, but I also want to replicate this kindness, because there's nobody that doesn't like kindness. Even the richest of persons.
Basically, wrapping it up is you suggesting that people should see examples in the things that other people do for them.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not like an entitlement thing. It's now more like there's a balance, just like you have said.
Yeah.
So, God's beauty, what's your wrapping?
I wanted to give this small scenario, right, about like how I grew up. So in the house, you'd see my mom, for example, like for every, how they give us pocket money and all of that. And there's always that, okay, I've given you this, what will you give me in return? And she doesn't say that like she's forcing you or anything. But we grew up to to understand that in as much as she's giving us, we always have to give her back. I remember back then when I was in secondary school, after like the whole week on Friday or so, we saved some money, me and my younger sister, and we used to get airtime for her. Same goes to my dad as well. Yeah, so that's why I grew up to understanding that in as much as people are actually helping you, they are doing it because they're doing it from their heart. It's also important that you also show them that you appreciate the value of things that they do for you.
So
it is very, very important.
First time I got my father and mother birthday gifts, I just finished secondary school then, so I made a little money. The happiness on their face, I'm like, I'm going to keep up with this. This is interesting. Because they've always been the giver, and I had an opportunity to give at this point, and I took it.
So this is wrapping up to say that for whatever thing that you have maybe at the back of your head, making you feel like some people are overly entitled to some of the things that you have or some of the ways that you have invested in them. For some people who are entitled for some reasons or the other, be it your spouse, your father, your mother, your child, in whatever situation, I hope this conversation sort of helps you to now pick what paths that you're now choosing to follow. It's either you're now increasing your the thing that you're already doing. Basically, maybe if you are also investing back, this will help you know that, yes, you're on the right path. If you are not doing anything for the other party, as Oluchi already mentioned, that it's a bit of a transactional thing, I hope this also helps you to, narrow it down and help you achieve that thing that you want to achieve without feeling entitled. This is where we wrap up today's show. I hope to see you again tomorrow on another hot topic from Ways Breakfast. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Saleh from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?